Hi again everyone, how's all doing? So here we are with the first repair request on the new layout. This is a Hornby A4 Class Kingfisher in lovely BR blue livery. I do like a blue locomotive. This was sent to me by John, also known as Greenhill Junction here on YouTube. He posted a video of this locomotive on his channel to show how bad a case of the shoe glaze it has. It's got a bit of a wobble to it. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. And he got recommended to contact me in the comments of that video. So here it is. Now I can't actually run this at the moment because it's DCZ fitted. It'll need a blanking plate, so it just does nothing under DC at the moment. But we'll shove it into the shed and see if we can figure out why it's got a case of the wibbly wobblies. Right, let's get a look at this. Very nice looking model. I think this is a Hornby Railroad. Just have a wee look on the underside here. Yeah, made in China. It's got a very Bachmann-esque drawbar. Don't like that very much. Yeah, I think John reckoned the problem was with the drive wheels there. But we shall see. Wobbles can be a real pain in the neck to try and resolve. It's got the floating wheel, pony truck nonsense. We've got a speedometer linked up just to add to the fun. So we'll get this tender unplugged first of all. Easy as that, unless the chip's in here. I haven't looked at the service sheet for this. Okay, so we'll need to undo that to undo the speedometer. Got a screw down in there. I might have to undo that. There's a screw there. Right, okay, we'll do that first of all. It's just really annoying having to do this just to get the body off. Just nonsense. Right, okay, that's disconnected. Undo the screw at the front. Oh, come on, very narrow slot in this screw. That screw out. Right, does this just lift out, or is there more to it? There we go. The chip is in the tender. I should have known that. I really should have known that. Trying to see if there's a screw underneath this coupling. Sometimes there is. Yep. So we undo that. And out she comes. But we shall stick an 8-pin blanking plate in there. I think I have one. I've got 21-pin plates. There we go, there's one. Right, I'll make sure we get this the right way round. There's a little one on a triangle on that socket there, and a little one in the triangle on that pin. So we'll match that up, shove it in, and that should now run, but we won't bother putting that on. We'll refit this pin, and then refit this plug. Like so. And now that should run on the test track, and hopefully we shall see this wobble. Okay. Yeah, the middle drive wheel is wobbling. I'm not seeing too much of a wobble in the actual locomotive. I think what I'll do is stick this around the layout, see what it does. You can see it wobbling a wee bit there, but it's not really that bad. It's maybe worse with the body on. So running it around the layout there, I could see it wobbling back and forth a little bit, but it really wasn't that bad. Not as bad as it appears in John's video. I've just noticed actually that the back of the cylinder there is loose. I need to get that stuck on. Don't know if that would make much difference. Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is disengage the motor just so I can push it back and forth by hand on the test track. That'll let me feel if there's any points of resistance, or if I can see any obvious reason why it's, just very slightly doing that. So we shall peel this tape off and do that. That should then come out. Screw there, get that track out of the way. Just lift this motor up enough to disengage it. Stick a cocktail stick under there just now. Yeah, that middle wheel is wobbling about a lot. I mean, pushing it like that, there's very little movement in the body. But once the gears are engaged, it's these wheels that are driving the thing. I think we're just getting a bit of that going on. We're going to have to get into the axles. Might have to pull that motor out. Okay, this is going to probably have a nasty, the usual horrible pickup nonsense. And that will have a wire attached to it, which is going to be those two wires there. So I might just have to lift that out. Like so. And then we can shove these wires down. Like that. Just pull these wires out. And then we can get a look at what's going on with the axles. I think what I'm going to do is disconnect that, and same on the other side. Which will let me, the gear falling out, get that out altogether. At least it should do. Like so. I just want to get a very close look at the drive gear, but it seems fine. Quite a lot of oil. I'm going to give that a wee scoosh out. This rod here's a little bit bent. Just the slightest bend in these rods really can make a big difference. So, as I've said before, be very careful how you pick locomotives up, especially these made in China models, because the rods are really soft. Quite a lot of fibres in here. Let's get the monkey brush in. It's just a bad fit between that bearing and the that axle. There's too much play. I'd quite like to try a new wheel set. It's maybe just got a better fitting bearing, because otherwise it's in really good condition. It doesn't even need service. It's all lubricated fine. There's nothing dirty, nothing untoward. It's just a poor quality drive gear. It's much easier to work on when the DCC gubbins is in the tender. Right, there's a wee clip in there. It goes in like that. Fit this front bogie, which is another odd way of fitting. Okay, we will then plug this back in. Like so. See, at the moment, that's not wobbling at all. Not here anyway. We'll get it onto the layout and try it. Okay, so I ran this round the layout a few times and yeah, still wobbling a wee bit. I mean, not as much as I could see on John's video, but still just, you know, wobbling. I mean, part of me was just thinking, well, it's maybe just the way this model is. You know, there is movement in this middle axle. There's maybe not much I could do about it. But I thought, I'll have another look at the middle axle. So I've disconnected all the rods, but you know, left this in situ. I thought I'll spin the wheel to see what happens. And you can see it's kicking from side to side. Don't know how well you can see that. But it does kind of kick from side to side. And then I noticed, and I can't believe I didn't spot this before, the wiper pickup on this side is broken off. So there's only one wiper pickup on this middle axle. Now, with so much play in that axle, you know, there's pressure on one side from the pickup, but there's no equal pressure on the other side. So if we just hold that pickup out the road and then spin the wheels, it doesn't kick. That's running absolutely fine. You can see it kicks. Get the pickup out the road and it doesn't. So it kind of looks like that's the problem. It's a broken wiper pickup. I had a look online, cannot find replacements for these. I mean, I dare say they'll pop up somewhere someday, but at the moment I can't get replacements. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this keeper plate off and just bend this wiper pickup out the way so it's not touching. There's plenty pickup from these wheels and all the tender wheels, so you know it's not going to cause an issue. Just disengaging the pickup on this middle axle. So that's what we'll do, and hopefully that'll sort it. You probably can't see, but there's a wiper pickup there, but that one's broken off. So if we bend that so it's not engaging with the wheel, it'll hopefully stop the wheel kicking. Right, let's put a battery on that now. There we go. That's now running fine. So hopefully once all the rods and everything are connected up, it should be okay. Righty-ho. Okay then. Let's see how this goes round the layout. And believe it or not, it still wobbles. It's still doing that. I mean, it's not that bad. If it was mine, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, that middle axle's still all over the place. So with the rods all disconnected, the middle axle doesn't kick now that I've disengaged that pickup. But when the rods are connected, it's still got a hell of a wobble. Yeah, I'm going to go online and see if we can get another wheel set. Okay, so I went online and found a replacement wheel set and I've fitted them. These are the old wheels here. I just thought this is worth a go because, you know, looking at the bearings on the old wheels, or on the axles rather, you know, there was an awful lot of play on them. And I just thought, I wonder if a replacement wheel set would help have less play in the bearings. And I do think that's the case. When I looked at the new ones, you know, the bearings didn't seem to wiggle about quite as much. So I've fitted them, and fingers crossed that's going to solve the problem. Certainly on the test track here, it seems to be absolutely fine. But, you know, the wobble was more evident at faster speeds and when the locomotive was under load. If this doesn't work, the sort of only other option is to bush the axles with a bit of brass tubing. I'm loath to do that because, you know, being a Hornby Railroad model, you know, it's not the best quality in the world. And the idea of, you know, the thought of pulling off all the wheels in order to bush them, I'm not even sure it's entirely possible to bush them. Need to, you know, give it a try. But, you know, taking all the wheels off and refitting them could very well make it worse. You know, you could introduce an even worse wobble. So, you know, that kind of is a last resort. You know, these made in China Hornby Railroad models, I think you have to accept a little bit of wobble in them. You know, they're not perfect. The axles are loose, the rods are really loose. I would really like to have replaced the rods in this as well, because I think what happens is, you know, where the rod fits onto the wheel, the rod actually starts to wear, and you get a lot of play in the rods as well, because the metal in these rods is really soft. So I think the new wheel set will help. I think new rods would have helped even more. But as I say, if it still wobbles, I might consider having a go at bushing them. Having bought the new wheel set, you know, at least I've got a backup set of wheels. So I might still give that a go. But let's go and pull this out of the shed and see how it runs. Okay, let's bring it out. So there we are, this seems to be a lot better now. Fitting the new wheel set seems to have done the trick. Thankfully the wheel sets are very cheap and still available. There is still a very slight wobble, but that's perfectly normal for these railroad models. But you know, it doesn't seem to be waddling the way it was, especially in John's video. You know, it was especially noticeable around the cab. Bushing the axles with some brass tubing is maybe possible. I would say to John that if it starts wobbling again, to send it back to me, and I'll give that a go. But for now, this seems to run fine to me. I really don't want to mess around with this too much. You know, taking these railroad models apart and putting them back together over and over again is just going to end up with things getting broken. So I'm going to leave it alone for now, as it seems okay. The wobble was probably due to wear. The metal in these models is really soft, and I think everything just works loose over time. Either that or it's just badly machined in the first place, but I think new rods would have really been a big help here, but I couldn't find any online. Right, okay, I'll get this packed up and sent back to John. I'll need to remember to take my blanking plate out. Okay folks, I'll catch you soon with a wee layout update. Cheers for now.